Okay, FSA premium question bank number 38. So we have pension liability, but on a net basis, which means pension liability is greater than the pension asset by 100. So you can take some pension asset. Let's assume pension assets as 500. And compared to that, pension liability is net 100 higher. So pension liability would be PBO would be 600. Okay, so there's some remeasurements. I hope you are aware about this remeasurements. अभी मैं नहीं बताऊं. Then there is pension expense during the year. Discounted is given to calculate this pension liability, which is 6%. And there were no contributions, so contributions were 0. Okay, you have to calculate like operating expense, or I mean, you have to see whether operating expense, operating cash flow, or OCI of 40 million. Okay, go ahead. Just see what would be the operating expense. I give you pension expense. We haven't done this part of it as of now, but you guys were suggesting me about this, I think in the yesterday's lecture, I mean, it was the last week lecture, that pension expense में जो एक component है, that is not related to operating expense. Think about what was that expense that I think one of you had only told me. So how can this be a part of operating expense? Okay, just think about it. What are the elements of the pension cost? And if you say one element is little bit in a doubt, how can this be a part of operating expense? पहले सोचो. Okay, write down the components of the pension cost, then we discuss it together. What is that component which we can we calculate that amount from here, and we'll talk about it whether that's an operating expense or not. Anyone? I think किसने बोला था, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है. तुम लोग में से किसने बोला था? Okay. What are the components of pension cost? I'm not talking about pension expense. What are the components of pension cost? Come on, guys. Forgot current service cost, past service cost, interest cost.
Interest plus current service cost plus past service cost.
Financial expense. I mean, GAAP talks about it as an operating expense, but in general, interest is paid to the lenders, which are the finances of the company. So technically, this cannot be a part of operating expense. But anyways, minus expected return on the plan asset, gone.
Minus
gain and surprise returns. Okay, so इसमें से वो interest cost is that which I was asking about it. Okay, but यहाँ पे IFRS gap दिया नहीं है. I'm gonna assume IFRS. Okay, tell me. Actually, you were not there. Okay, but did you see the video? No. Current service cost, past service cost. In IFRS, in gap it goes in the OCI. Interest cost. Income statement. But there's something over here which is common, that the expected return is calculated using discounted as expected. Go on. Statistical gain, you're not here. Statistical gain and good. So the point is, this is OCI. So we are not gonna talk about this. ये वाला important था. ये जो remeasurement वाला जो दिया था, remeasurement of -3. This I believe कि this is going to be this part of the OCI. So this is not going to be counted over here. And the together of this was called as the pension expense. But all of them goes in the income statement, and that was given to be 12. Okay, pension expense, all of this was given to be 12. Now, can you guys think about it and look at option A, B, C?
Sir, but pension expense का तो ये पूरा ही फॉर्मूला हुआ ना, लास्ट का तो हम कंसिडर क्यों नहीं करेंगे?
ये पेंशन कॉस्ट है, इसमें से कुछ जाता है इनकम स्टेटमेंट में, which is this, and कुछ जाता है OCI में, which is this. So together, this is the pension cost, out of which the first 4 components, current service cost, past service cost, interest cost, minus expected return, this goes in the income statement, pension expense. And the last component goes in the OCI. Okay, so this pension expense, it is given to us. That is given to us over here as 12. Okay, so can you guys do it now? I'll pause the recording and I'll want you guys to do it. एक ऑप्शन डिलीट हुआ, समझा ना? वो कौन सा ऑप्शन डिलीट हुआ? C option got deleted. We just realized right now that the last part, I think that got it. This was the OCI, statistical gain, which goes in the OCI. How much was that? -3. Okay, there's a -3 wala part. So that is what is going in the OCI. But apart from that, there was this surprise return wala part also. So if that surprise return is something like 17, then 17 -3 would be a part of 14. So have they given something about a surprise return? Otherwise, you assume surprise return to be 0. Nothing is given. So we'll assume surprise return to be 0. So statistical gain is remeasurements -3. So this would be a part of OCI. So OCI would have -3 and not the 14. So C option got deleted. Okay. A or B? What was this? What was this together? What did I assume? I assumed that the pension assets were 500 and pension liability was 600 because we know okay, overall that is 100 higher. So that's what we assume, pension assets to be 500 and pension liability to be 600. So based on that and assuming discount rate is 5% diya tha na? Okay, so if I multiply this by discount rate, we'll get the interest cost. Calculate that. 600 का 5%. कितना हुआ? कितना? 30. Okay, and pension asset multiplied by expected return. That is the expected return, and expected return could be anything in IFRS, sorry, in anything in GAAP, but in the case of the IFRS, it is discounted only. So this is 25, no? Okay, so interest cost is 30, expected return is 25. So overall, this is 5. Now, this part of the pension expense is not operating. This is financing. तो जो pension expense दिया था 12, उस pension expense में से pension expense में इस 12 में से जो interest cost था, that interest expense is 5, which is to be separated out, and the rest would be 7. Okay, so this we don't have a problem. What about expected return? Is it a part of operating or is it non-operating? Expected return on plan asset. This is the clear as financing. What about this? इसको निकालना है कि नहीं निकालना? ये interest cost था कितना था? 30 ना? And this was 25. So this is surely not the operating. This is financing. What about expected on plan asset? जो प्लान असेट्स हमारे पास है जिसको हमने इन्वेस्ट करके वहां से इंटरेस्ट इनकम निकाला है, इज इट अ पार्ट ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग और इज इट अ पार्ट ऑफ लाइक समथिंग एल्स? ऑपरेटिंग और नॉन ऑपरेटिंग? द पार्ट इज आई एम इनटू सीएफए कोचिंग. Okay, Parley is into biscuit making. None of us is into managing the pension assets as a part of core operations. We are doing something else, which is the core operations, not the managing of the pension asset. So this is not a part of operations, this is a part of investments. So this expected return is also part of non-operating. So these two had to be separated. So overall 5 has to be separated. So out of 12, 5 would be interest cost net of it, and overall would be the 7. So operating expense should be 7 and not 10. Okay, so that rules out option A. Operating cash flow, एक तक हमने कवर नहीं किया. हाउ टू डू दैट ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लो, वी हैव नॉट डन दैट एज ऑफ नाउ. सो मैंने अभी श्वेतस देखा था, तो श्वेतस में ये पार्ट निकाल दिया गया था. सो एक बार मैं आई जस्ट टेक इन द इंस्टीट्यूट बुक आल्सो अबाउट इट कि हाउ टू डील विद दैट ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लो कैलकुलेशन. बट इज इट क्लियर व्हाई ऑप्शन A gets deleted? The total pension expense was 12, and out of that 12, interest cost of 35 and expected return of 30 and expected return of 25 is not part of operations. It's part of financing and investments. This is investments ka return, and this is the interest that we are paying to the financer. So this 5 has to be segregated, and then this becomes your operating expense. Okay, so A also gets rejected. So by elimination, the answer should be 12. I mean, the operating cash flow of 12, which I'm not able to explain right now how it is coming out to be 12.